shout out to the monkey gang, the great apes. At the club swinging, they asking for my singing. She peeling the banana backstage. What a feeling, what a feeling. Monkey gang chilling. What a feeling, king of the top villain.
What is privilege? To some, this definition may vary depending upon context. However, in its most simplified form, the Oxford Dictionary cites it as a special right or advantage that a particular person or group of people have. In everyday culture, we see the same topic ingrain itself within most of our day-to-day decisions, forms of entertainment, and daily conversations. So, naturally, it would find its way into the world of manga, and in this case, more specifically, My Hero Academia. So, I guess you might be wondering, Fiction Ape, what is this pretentious video? And I get it. I know how this sounds, but it will be worth your time if you're a fan of the manga. Originally, this was gonna be an analysis on My Hero Academia and how some might perceive the manga as having a childish beginning. But as I wrote the script and spoke to my editor, I slowly realized that I ended up not even addressing that point. Instead, I came across an entirely different topic, being the emphasis on privilege sprinkled throughout the world and characters of My Hero Academia, especially as of late with the more recent chapters heavily developing this theme. If you like this type of video and you like what I do, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel a lot. So far, not even 97% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So it would be really greatly appreciated if you guys could subscribe, leave a like, and share the video. So, thank you for that. Before I go any further, spoiler warning for the My Hero Academia anime and manga. To start off, it's important to establish who the kids of Class 1A are. They are effectively what would be the equivalent of the top 1% of society in our real world. And here's why. Hero work is considered to be the pillar profession of the world of My Hero, an elite career path similar to something like being an engineer, a judge, or a doctor in the real world. The kids at UA are basically the best candidates for the best profession in what is considered to be the best school most well equipped to turn them into the next #1 hero. In terms that are more tangible to our world, these kids are all basically the equivalent of super Harvard students that basically have their futures and careers secured and guaranteed to them as soon as they graduate, and the world is just theirs for the taking. The sports festival really puts this into perspective when you realize that it is stated to be a bigger sports event than the actual Olympics. Though the kids may be sheltered through the first 100 or so chapters of the story, their shelter is slowly torn apart after the retirement of All Might. But I'll focus on his importance and how it's related to the privilege of the kids later in the video. Now, as early as chapter 1, Horikoshi already makes it clear that life is not equally peachy and pleasant for everyone through Quirkless Deku. While on a first read, this seems like generic main character backstory number 236, it serves for some really good world building. Deku's life was depressive when he was quirkless. He got constantly bullied in school, and his teachers seemingly did nothing about it despite him being beaten unconscious since he was a toddler. This is really important and symbolic to the story, considering the person who does it to him, Bakugo. Bakugo has been praised constantly since he was a child, ever since his quirk was discovered, since he was potentially gonna become an extremely powerful hero when he grew up. And while it's not explicitly stated, it's pretty telling of how bad the world of My Hero Academia can be. The change of Deku's life from before and after he got his quirk was completely night and day, and that's the point. In My Hero Academia, if you can be a good hero, you will have a good life. And if you can't, you will be forgotten and thrown aside by society. When you think about it in terms of being productive in real life, it's not too different. Now, Horikoshi abandons this aspect of the story for a while and lets us follow the kids being heroic and having fun for a long time, enjoying their privileged life happily, until we get to the, in my opinion, massively underrated Gentle Criminal arc. Gentle Criminal and La Brava are the first time we truly witness the horrific things that happen to those who don't fit into hero society, and how it can bring enough despair to drive people even to contemplate suicide. It would not surprise me if Deku would have ended up in a similar path as La Brava had he not met All Might. The arc becomes even sadder when you take into account that Gentle and La Brava's dream of internet fame were utterly crushed for the sake of the kids at UA having a festival for fun. The two outcasts that could only find happiness together were separated for the sake and leisure of the fun of the kids at UA. Now, I'm not saying Gentle and La Brava should not have been stopped by Deku, don't misunderstand me. They were villains committing evil actions. But it puts it into perspective when something as tantamount as a life dream got utterly squashed for some casual enjoyment for the heroes. Though, knowing Gentle and La Brava, it's pretty obvious that no one would have ended up dead, or even remotely close to being seriously wounded. This arc, for the first time, makes the reader, or at least me when I read, feel conflicted whether they truly want the villains to lose. You can 100% sympathize with Gentle and La Brava's reasons for acting the way they do, and turning to villainy. This leaves the line between right and wrong more blurred, and by the time the My Villain Academia arc comes around, the line is pretty much gone. I don't think I have to go into too much detail for anyone that has read the arc, but the My Villain Academia arc shows the other side of the coin of hero society. Instead of seeing the privileged kids of UA, we are shown the ones that were abandoned by society for not fitting into its ideals of what a person is supposed to be. Unsurprisingly, this is when the series truly started getting dark. After all, these characters were not sheltered and cared for every step of their lives like the majority of the kids in UA. They were abused, oppressed, and literally discriminated against for being who they are. No other character symbolizes this abandonment better than Tenko Shimura, also known as Shigaraki Tomura, who, after a freak accident with his quirk, is left homeless and abandoned on the streets, begging for help, only to be tossed aside and abandoned completely by everyone who passed him by. This is a kid living in the same society that we've been shown has heroes patrolling the streets, helping with minor crimes at any time. And out of everyone who saw young Tenko, an abandoned 5-year-old, the only one who extended a helping hand to him was the Lord of Evil, All For One. This dichotomy between the UA kids and the League of Villains is perfectly encapsulated by the difference in tone in the series from before and after the My Villain Academia arc. Horikoshi purposefully makes you, as a reader, believe that Hero Society is just a larger-than-life, more awesome version of our world, when in reality it's just as bad, filled with discrimination and oppression left and right. He's created a scenario where even if the heroes win and crush the League of Villains into the ground, that is basically an oppressive system putting down those who rebel against it. And that's just not very heroic at the end of the day. Now, the clear embodiment of the children's privilege in the story is All Might himself. All Might was the ultimate safety net for the My Hero world, and that is what created this fake safety bubble for everyone to live in, making everything seem like it's okay just because the villains aren't able to fight back against such a powerful force. With All Might's forced retirement, that bubble has popped, and more than ever do we now see its repercussions. Countless pro heroes dying, being forced to retire due to horrific injuries, or simply doing so due to the overwhelming pressure created by a world without All Might. And the very golden image of hero society burned to the ground. In a parallel manner, we see the rise of Deku and his friends. Yet, as the story progresses and peels back the ugliness of its world, we also see the downfall of many of its heroes, something that is becoming more and more prevalent in recent chapters. In conclusion, I believe Horikoshi deliberately stages the story this way to emphasize not only the privileges associated with the hero world, but also the shortcomings experienced by those who are not as fortunate as the main characters. And that's a wrap on the video. I know it's obvious, but it's worth mentioning that I am no owner of the truth. This is clearly an opinion-based video essay, so feel free to disagree with me, and if you do, please make sure to leave a comment as to why. Sorry for the lack of structured videos these past few months. I've been trying to think of some changes that I want to implement into the channel, and I have been working on structured videos that just took me a while. This one took a really long time to produce. I've been working on it since the end of 2020, so just so you have an idea. But anyways, thank you all for watching this video until the end. If you liked the video and want to see more, please consider leaving a like, commenting, sharing with a friend, and subscribing. It'd be greatly appreciated. And anyways, till next time, Fiction Ape out the gate.